'Twas on the good ship Cuspidor we sailed through Baffin's Bay. We tied her to the ocean while the Bulwarks ate some hay. The captain said, "We'll tie the ship, whatever else betide," and he drank a pint of gasoline with whiskey on the side. He had lost his breath, but soon it was restored. It was midnight in the galley, it was one beside the dock, but by the starboard watch 'twas only 9:30. The first mate said, "Unhitch the mules, we're going through a lock." And then the boatswain went and put the larboard watch in hock, for the good ship didn't have a cent aboard. Avast, belay, hurrah for Baffin's Bay. We couldn't find the pole because the barber moved away. The boat was cold, we thought we'd get the grip, so the painters put 3 coats upon the ship. Hip, 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 hooray for Baffin's Bay. A brace of wild ducks perched upon the starboard mizzen clew. The captain spliced the braces and he braced us for a chew. He said, "We'll dine on duck and wine, I know we'll have good luck." But there was no piper held sick, so the boatswain chased the duck, and he piped the chickens to the forward hatch. We were told to weigh the anchor, but the scales were full of ice. We couldn't weigh it all at once, we had to weigh it twice. The second mate fell overboard, it dried him to the skin. He got aboard without a rope, we couldn't rope him in, for he lit aboard us with the parlour match. Avast, belay, hurrah for Baffin's Bay. A whale began to blubber, he was sorely tried one day. He mashed a sweet potato on a ship, but he found she was a Saratoga chip. Hip, 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 hooray for Baffin's Bay. The boatswain asked a polar bear would she eat off his hand, but polar bears talk Polish and she did not understand. She chased him up a mountain peak, she acted very rough. When she made him jump the precipice, he knew it was a bluff, but if she had bit him, he'd have bit her back. 2 loving whales got in our net, we knew they were insane. They blew themselves and then we saw they'd water on the brain. The bull whale said, "Sulpine, I love you best of all the whales." The lady said, "Don't talk so loud, the fishes carry tails," and the bull whale kissed her with a fishing smack. Avast, belay, hurrah for Baffin's Bay. Just 3 years is a lifetime there, for 6 months is a day. A whale can give a ferry boat the slip, but it can't get full of sailors like a ship. Hip, 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 hooray for Baffin's Bay. We met a friendly Eskimo and bought a sealskin sack. We found it was a skin, but still we couldn't take it back. We handed him his balance, but he lost it and he fell. That is all for that poor Eskimo, I know his widow well, for when he gave us the sack it sealed his fate. When the captain ate an onion, then the good ship sprang a leak. A man fell from the masthead and they said he died from pique. We didn't have a thing to eat, the stove refused to bake. The cook went out amid the ice and he brought back a cake, but he couldn't if he didn't have a skate. Avast, belay, hurrah for Baffin's Bay. A clipper came last Wednesday and it took us both away. The ice is fine if you're on for a trip, but I never saw an iceman on a ship. Hip, 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 hooray for Baffin's Bay.